Shrestha manamapi Vishuchiputram Atra Surupam Rupam Tasakracha Muripurim Maturim Kushtuatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Ahoradika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Skripaya Shri Guru Tam Natosmi Gurave Gaurachandrai Adhikaya Tadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktai Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya He Mabhadevyatschavi Sundaraya Tasmai Maha Prema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Bhaktya Bhina Aparada Lakshay Shivdasta Kamadi Karanga Mandi Vipa Mahikam Shanam Prapana Vinde Namaste Sharangar Vindam Vinde Namaste Sharangar Vindam Govinda Damodara Madhadevi Govinda Damodara Madhadevi Govinda Damodara Madhadevi Govinda Damodara Madhadevi Hey Krishna Hey Yadava Hey Saketi Govinda Damodara Madhadevi Shama Sundar Shikhanda Shekhar Smaraha Samurali Manohara Radhika Rasakamama Kripanidhe Swapriyachana Kinkarim Kuru Tavaivasmi Najivami Tayabana Iti Vikyaya Devi Tam Namam Charanantikam. Is it safe? First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadiya Paramaradhatama Guru Pada Padma Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtotarasta Sri Rupanugacharya Varya Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to our entire Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to Drishta Prabhu and all the senior Vaishnavas and all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. My pranam Vancha Kalpaturvasa Vaishnavi. Perhaps you know that when Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad, the Acharya of Sambandha Gyan, met with our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Manikanikara Ghat in Kashi, Banaras. At that time, he asked Mahaprabhu, Ke Ami, who am I? Keniyamaya Jaritapatrai. And why am I suffering in this world? So Mahaprabhu replied to him, Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishna Nitya Das Krishna Tatasta Shakti Beda Bed Prakash Krishna Bhuli Se Jiv Anadir Bahimuk Atyav Maya Tari Deya Sangsaradi Duk. The meaning is that you are not a physical being. You are not a material object. You are Jiva, particle of spiritual energy of the Asta Shakti, the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. So you are eternal. And by very nature, by constitution, we are Jivera Swarup Hai Krishna Nitya Das, the eternal servants of Krishna. So then the question comes, if we are the eternal servants of Krishna, what are we doing here in the material world? Dukalayam ashashvatam, the place which is filled with misery and where everything is temporary. Why are we not in the eternal plane of the blissful service and love? So Mahaprabhu gave the answer. Krishna Boli Sai Jiv Anadir Bahimuk. The souls in this world, they have forgotten Krishna. It can be a little misleading because it's a way of speaking. One may say, but when did we forget him? On what day of the week? Which time? Was it 4:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday? No. Krishna Boli Sejiv Anadir Bahimuk. Anadi. Our Bahimuk, that is our aversion to Krishna, that our mukh, our face is bahir, turned away, is Anadi, with no beginning, time immemorial. No one can trace out the origin of that. That is something mystical. In Samadhi, one can realize it, but it does not come within the jurisdiction of the mature intellect. Nevertheless, the situation is that we are now in a state of Krishna Bahimukata, aversion to Krishna. In fact, all the activities which are reward-seeking in this world, karmic activities, all the activities of selfish sense gratification, they are not just neutral, impartial activities, but in the context of the metaphysics of the whole of reality. Then, reward-seeking activities, selfish sense gratification, they're actually active hostility against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is active hostility. So due to this aversion to the Lord, Atayeva Mayatari Daya Sangsara Duk, Maya, the Lord's external energy, the goddess of this material world, is inflicting various types of sufferings, which are ultimately for our benefit, for our restoration, for our gradual redemption. So, the answer to all the problems of life is to not become something else, but to accept who we really are. Jiver Swarupai Krishna Nitya Das. To accept our position as Krishna's servants with a very firm, unflinching conviction. Krishnadas Karaj Goswami Padi said, Keho mani, keho namani, sabatar das, ye namani taro hoy se papinash. Some people accept that they are Krishna's servants, and other people don't accept that they are Krishna's servants. But whether you accept or not does not change the fact that you are Krishna's servant. Because that is our eternal constitutional position. But the speciality between accepting and not accepting is those who don't, yena mani tarohai se papinash, those who don't accept, they become entangled in the pap, sinful reactions of the material world. And their life is wasted and ruined, because when a soul takes birth in this human form of life, it's telos. The very purpose of this human form of life is nothing but to attain Krishna's loving service. That's the purpose. Everything else is simply a distraction. So the position of being Krishna Das is exalted. Agrai haya mukti tabe sarva bandhanash tabe se hoiti pare. Sri Krishna Das, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, he said, first be liberated and let all bondage of illusion and ignorance, all misconception, bodily identification, let it be destroyed. After that, then one can be called actually Krishna Das. So the position of the Das, the servant of Krishna, is most exalted. There was a great, powerful, mystic yogi named Durvasa. He performed hard austerities and he used to meditate on the Nirvishesh Brahm, the impersonal light. And once he came to the palace of Ambarish Maharaj, and he thought, oh, he's a king, he's a family man, he has family, he's doing worldly duties. He's not so elevated, he's not so great. And so, when he discovered that on the day after Ekadasi, on the Dwadasi day, though Durvasa was the guest of Ambarish Maharaj, he discovered that Ambarish Maharaj had broken his fast because he has to do paran and complete his vow for Ekadasi within the allotted time. So he didn't want to offend his guest by eating, because he had not fed his guest yet, so he took some charnamrita. But Durvasa was so pedantic over this, he considered it to be an insult, that he had not been properly respected. And so he became angry with Ambarish Maharaj. And he pulled out one of his jata, one of his matted locks, and threw it on the ground. And by mantra there he manifested a fiery kritya, a flaming witch, demoness. And he set her onto the, just burn him. Burn him for his sinful attachment, because he has disrespected me. But Sri Krishna's chakra appeared there and killed that Kritya, and then turned on Durvasa Muni and chased him everywhere, all over the universe, for a whole year. Actually, the chakra could have caught him in 1 second. Why will it take the chakra a year to chase Durvasa Muni? He could have caught him in a second and finished Durvasa Muni. But then again, he couldn't. He could not do that. He was unable to do it. Though the chakra is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord himself, he was unable to kill Durvasa Muni, because Ambarish Maharaj was praying for his welfare. And so, just as the servant of the Lord becomes the Lord's servant, so the Lord becomes the servant of his servant, because Krishna reciprocates with everyone. The mature mind can't just buck like a wild horse and refuse to accept this conclusion, I am Krishna's servant, because we don't know who Krishna is. If we could really understand who Krishna is, we would say, I am his servant, that's the greatest thing ever. Krishna is full of love. And Krishna's promised, Yeyatamam prapadyante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. As anyone surrenders to me, then I reciprocate with them. So those who serve Krishna, Krishna serves his devotee. Is that the best deal you ever heard? What are we waiting for? So when Durvasa Muni, he was being chased for a whole year, and he came back to the palace of Ambarish Maharaj, and he fell at his feet and loudly exclaimed, "Aho Ananta Dasanam Matyam Drastam Adame." He said, "Oh, aho, aho," with great astonishment. "Today I have seen the greatness of Ananta Das, the servants of the Supreme Lord. Kritagayena vipraso." Even though I tried to kill him, he was praying for my benefit. How great, how noble is the personality of a Vaishnava. So humble. They don't have a spirit of vengeance. They don't want to retaliate. They don't want to get back or get even or get one up against anyone, even those who try to kill them. This is the noble character of a pure Vaishnava. So, Durvasa Rishi, he prayed, "Yannama Sruti Matrena Pumam Bhavati Nirmala Tasya Tirtha Padam Kimba Dasanam Avashishyate." Before I thought that I was a great, powerful tapasvi, sannyasi, yogi, and he was just an ordinary householder and family man and bhakta. But now I realize the bhaktas, the devotees, they are so exalted. In fact, what have I achieved in my life? Nothing. And for Ambarish Maharaj, what is left for him to achieve? Nothing. Dasanam avashisyate. Those who are the servants of the Supreme Lord, they have nothing left to achieve. They have achieved everything. Because they are related in eternal loving service with that person. Yanna masruti matrena puman bhavati nirmala. Karmis, jnanis, yogis, they do prayastita. They do atonement to try to get free from sins. But even with a profound, unbroken meditation on Brahman in Samadhi, it does not remove your prarabdha karma. But Yannama Srutimat, if someone will just hear the name of that Supreme Lord once, all his sins are destroyed. So how great is the Supreme Lord? Tasya tirtha padam kimba. Anywhere where Krishna keeps, when he appears in this world, anywhere where he keeps his lotus feet, that place becomes tirtha. And for millions of years, millions of people go there and take bath in that place and pay homage to that place and become purified. So if someone has become the servant of such an inconceivably, unlimitedly great person, then what is left for that person to achieve? Nothing. So the position of Das is glorious. Dinera adikadai kari Bhagavan Kulina panditya dhani bara abhiman. The servant is humble. He never thinks, "Oh, I will do something for myself." He thinks my every step, my every breath, my every activity is to please the Supreme Lord. So Dinara Adigadai Kare Bhagavan, the servant, no matter how much he serves, he feels as if I have not done enough, and feels himself insignificant and low and wretched. But Dinara Adikadai Kare Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord gives more mercy to those persons who are more humble. The more insignificant the devotee feels himself, then the greater the Lord reciprocates and gives mercy. Bhavanyadan Kulina Pandita Dhani Bara Abhiman. If one is Kulin, thinking I am born in a very aristocratic family, famous, I have status in society, Panditya, I'm a great learned scholar. I know all the Shastra and grammar, Vyakaran, Kavya, literature. And Dhanir, I'm very wealthy and powerful. I am the possessor of valuable things in this world. Then with all these illusory attitudes, then only the abhiman comes, pride, the inflated ego. And it makes one, though the Supreme Lord is in the heart of everyone, he is very nearby, but it makes one feel as if God is far away or entirely absent from our life. So it is a disaster. But the devotees, they are always joyful, they're always happy. One may say, but devotees also, they experience difficulty in their life. Vaishnavera jata deki pyabahara duk nistyajani se parananda suk. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad said, if you see there's a pure Vaishnava and he's undergoing tribulations of the world, conventional, empirical tribulations, you should know for certain that he's experienced Paramananda Sukh, supreme joy and great happiness. The subjective experience of the devotee who is surrendered to Krishna and serving Krishna is one of extreme joy, always increasing. But from the outside, it is a great mystery. Anyone cannot guess. Araja vidya raja goyam. Pavitram edumuttamam pratyaksha savagamam dharmyam suskam kartamapyayam. In Gita, Krishna said, this is the king of all secrets. It is the king of knowledge. It is the monarch of all confidential things. It is the purest. It is transcendental, beyond darkness. Pratyaksha it is directly perceived. Susukam, bhakti is easy to perform. It is full of joy. Kartam abhyaya, and it goes on forever. It cannot be interrupted by any worldly circumstances, including death. So bhakti is wonderful. Once there was a devotee, he was a professional photographer. He was always taking photographs of Srila Prabhupada. And one day he came to him and he was showing him the photographs. And there was one photo, and Srila Prabhupada's face was like this. And he said, Srila Prabhupada, you look very melancholy in this photograph. You don't look happy. Prabhupada said, let me see. And Prabhupada looked, he said, oh yes, I remember that moment. It was the happiest moment of my life. So, one of the qualities of the Vaishnava is Gambhirata, Gambhirya, inscrutability. Vaishnavera kriyamudya bhikya nabujay. Even great learned scholars, they cannot understand the behavior, the activities, the inner subjective experience of the Vaishnava. But all Vaishnavas say, pure Vaishnavas, and the Shastra tells us that those who are engaged in pure bhakti, that bhakti is the vritti of Samvit and Hladini, Krishna's internal potency, which is self-revealing. It reveals Krishna's self and his associates and pastimes. And it is that is Samvit and Hladini. It gives the Amrita, nectar, transcendental joy. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing from Ramananda Rai about the dasya bhav, the mood of the servant, this is what we're discussing today. This is all that is required in life. Nothing else is required in life. It is the answer to everything. Only thing that is required is dasya bhav, the mood of a servant. Das abhiman, the self-identity. Who are you? I'm Krishna's servant. I am the servant of Hari, Guru and Vaishnava. Only this. Anything else? No, just this. So when Mahaprabhu was inquiring from Ramananda Rai, and Ramananda Rai was explaining to him the mood of a servant, Ramananda Rai quoted a verse of the Yamuna Stotra, of the Stotra Ratna of Yamuna Acharya, where he prays, Bhavantaim Aivanucharam Nirantara Prashanta Nishesha Manoratantara Kadaham Aikantaki Nitya Kinkara Prayasha Ishami Sanata Jivitam. So Ramananda Rai is expressing the essence of the mood of a servant. So he selected a verse that really encapsulates this. Bhavantam Evanataram Nirantara Kadam Aikantaki Nitya Kinkara. Or when will I be completely one-pointed in your service, my Lord? Beautiful prayer. When will I be undistracted? When will I be fully devoted? Continuously. Bhakti is avichinna taila dharavat, like a stream of oil or honey. If you have honey in a jar and you pour it, it comes out really slowly in an unbroken stream. So in the same way, when our mind, our senses, they are engaged, connected with Krishna in an unbroken stream, no interruption, then this is the nature of Uttama Bhakti. So when will I be one-pointed, exclusive in your service? At that time, Manoratanta, my heart, my Manorat means desires. If you are not happy, the cause of unhappiness is you have material desires. If your face is dark and miserable, you have anxiety, then what is the reason? Material desires only. If material desires were not there, then you would not be disturbed. Just like Pingala. Pingala was a prostitute. She came out of a boudoir, all decorated beautifully, and was standing at the gate and waiting for a customer. And as men were coming, will this one be my client today? Yes. Oh no. And he would walk past. And then every time someone walked past, it was like a knife in her heart. And she was suffering so much. And then finally, Asahi paramam dukam nirasya paramam sukam. She gave up all hope. Okay, tonight I'll have no customers. What's the problem? And then everyone walked past and there was no pain and she felt satisfied. And she realized to have a hope in this world is a state of suffering. So when you become nirasha, having no worldly hopes, then paramam sukham, then you feel very comfortable, happy. So he's saying, prashanta nishesha. When will my heart be completely peaceful? Peaceful, serene, samatva, internal sanctity and equilibrium. It's amazing. You may have experienced, if you sit and chant for a long time, something happens. The whole atmosphere in the room changes. Actually, it's in your mind. Just the static of the whole material world and all worldly thoughts, it just disappears and there's inner peace. So the devotee who has dasya bhav, he's internally completely peaceful because he's no longer harassed by anxieties, attachment, and worldly ambitions. Kadaham aikantiki nitya kinkara prayasha ishami sanata jivitam. It's not only a relief from the mental suffering of worldly life, but there is a positive, prahashayashami. When will I be thrilled? When will I be overwhelmed with jubilation? Sanata jivitam. Knowing that I am the servant of my Nath, my Lord. Here is that for the servant, it doesn't matter what difficulties he's facing in life. He's facing those difficulties to please Krishna. And as long as only the feeling is there, I want to please Krishna, Krishna is pleased by that, whether you fail or whether you succeed. Is that amazing? You see, material activities, either you fail or you succeed. But in devotional activities, you only intend to do them and you try to do them, it's already a success. So, just trying to serve Krishna at every moment, the devotee feels joy because he thinks, oh, my Lord is wonderful. I'm not feeling joy because I'm wonderful. I'm not feeling joy because the situation is wonderful. I'm feeling joy because my Lord is wonderful. And I'm fortunate. It's a privilege to have the chance to serve Him. How glorious is that? Just like Bali Maharaj, when Lord Vamandev bound him up in the Nagapash, snake ropes. He was tied up in snake ropes. And he could not even bend down to give pranams to Lord Vamandev. But in his mind, he wanted to give obeisances. Yeah, thank you. He wanted to pay obeisances, but he could not. But anyway, the Lord accepted his feeling that he wanted to pay obeisances. And that he would have, had he not been tied up. And the Supreme Lord blessed him and gave him the Sutal planetary system. He manifested a lower planet that was more glorious than the planet of Indra, even. And the Supreme Lord became his doorman, his security guard, even. Why? For a service that he could not even do. Just because the desire was there, I want to serve. And he would have done it had the circumstances been difficult. They had not been so difficult. So don't be afraid. You cannot fail in bhakti. There is no failure in bhakti. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his book Sharanagati, his songbook Sharanagati, there he described Thomara sevaya dukkha hoyo jato sayato parama sukha seva sukha dukkha parama sampada nashaye avidya dukkha. Oh my Lord Krishna, whatever difficulties I have to face in the course of serving you, I accept those difficulties as a paramasuk, the highest happiness. Why? Because the sukh and dukh, the happiness and distress, from the conventional perspective, those things which are considered happiness and distress from the conventional perspective, they're actually the same in bhakti. Because nashaya avidya dukkha, the more we are serving, then the success and the failure both act to destroy avidya, the avidya britti of Maya. Maya has one britti, that the avidya britti. It covers our awareness of the soul and makes one distracted by the material energy. But as one is serving, then the success and the failure and the happiness and the distress, both of them are equally valuable because they're both gradually destroying avidya at the root. So this is the mood of the das, the mood of the servant. Purva itihasa bulinu sakala seva sukha payemani amito toma tumito amar ki kaja apana dani. O my Lord, since I was absorbed in your service, my past sanskars are being washed away, and I cannot even remember my previous life and activities. I have forgotten that. Just like when you wake up from a bad dream, then you vaguely remember, but the details are just, everything becomes very vague and is disappearing. So in the same way, when the devotee comes to the stage of bhav, they have some vague recollection, but it's very much in the back of their awareness. So, Amito Tomar, Tumito Amar. Oh Krishna, I am yours and you are mine. What else is there to do? What else is there to know? I only know this. I am yours and you are mine. So this is the characteristic of Dasarati that makes it different from Shantarati. In Shantarati, that transcendentalist, he has the Trishna Tyag, he gave up thirst for worldly things. And Krishna Nishta, his consciousness is turned towards God. But he does not have mamata, he does not have possessiveness. And without possessiveness, then seva will not come. Just like in the school playground, there are so many children. But people don't just show up and take a random dozen children back to their home and pay for everything for them. Why? Because they don't have mamat. These are not my kids. They go and pick up the children to whom they feel mamata, possessiveness. And they work day and night to provide them with all the best facilities and opportunities in their life because of mamata, possessiveness. Without possessiveness, there will not be natural flow of service. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur expressing the spirit of complete surrender and the spirit of a servant. Amito tomar, tumito amar. I am yours and you are mine. What else is there to know? Bhakti vinoda ananda dubya tomar sevar tare sabachesta kari taba icha mato takiya tomar gari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a householder, but he's saying takiya tomar gari. Oh Krishna, this is your house. And I'm a servant in your house. And as I'm serving you, I'm just sinking in the ocean of Ananda. Saba chesta kori taba ichomato. All the chesta, that means all the endeavor, all the efforts that I am doing, they are taba ichomato, in accordance with your desire. There was a devotee, his name was Vasudev Datta. And he was so generous that any money that he had, he used to just give it away. And then his family was struggling. So Mahaprabhu made Shivananda Sain overlook his finances. Make sure there's enough for his life and family. So quoting this verse, when Mahaprabhu said, you have to take care of him so he has enough for his family, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, those who are in the Grihastha ashram, they should do some activity to support themselves. They can do some work to support themselves. But they should think that all the house belongs to Krishna. I belong to Krishna. And the work I'm doing is for Krishna, to support Krishna's house and to feed Krishna. And what is left over, I will use it in the service of the Vaishnavas also. And then that person will be transcendental. They will be in the transcendental position, having that attitude. So what to speak of the ordinary living entities? Even Advaita Acharya, the incarnation of the Mahavishnu, the avatar of Mahavishnu, he has said, Chaitanya Radasamui, Chaitanya Radas, Chaitanya Radasamui, Tara Dasir Das. He jumps up in ecstasy. Even his dhoti is falling off. He's not even aware of it. And shouts, I am the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I am the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wait a minute, no. I am the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's in ecstasy. So even that Advaita Acharya, who is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, who is the predominating deity of the Upadan Karan, the ingredients of the whole world, even he has such ego. And he's ecstatic to accept, I am the Das, and the Das of the Das, the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's most important to, in this sadhak form, with the outer body, to accept that abhiman, identity. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daseranu Daso Shiva Abhilas Kare Narottamo Das. Sri Narottam Das Thakur, in his prayer, Radha Krishna Prana Moor, he has very high aspirations to serve Radha and Krishna on the bank of Jamuna, in a forest of Kali Kadamba trees, in a Manjari Swarup under the guidance of Lalita and Vishaka. But in the end he says, I am just the Das, the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So those who even have the very highest aspirations in Madhurya Rasa, in Raga Marg, but still outwardly in their sadhak form, their consciousness is, I am the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is most important. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India on his tour of Dakshin Bharat, then one point he stayed in the house of a Vedic Brahmana named Kurma. And he would just stay for one day, and then the next day he would leave and go to the next house. So when he was leaving, then that Brahmana said, take me with you. I want to go with you everywhere. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't speak like this again. But you should follow this order. Yari deka tarika Krishna upadesh, ama aragyai guru haya taridesh. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, you should tell them the teachings of Sri Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a teacher and help deliver everyone in your area, wherever you are staying. Kabu na bodhibai tomar vishataranga, puna api etai pabimora sangha. Then Mahaprabhu said, if you do this, then the waves of sense gratification, the powerful waves of Maya in this world, they will not touch you. Your progress in spiritual life will not be impeded by your worldly situation in your home or wherever you are. Puna api etai pabimora sangha. And I promise you that again you will have my association. That means that those who dedicate their lives to the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in speaking to others the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Mahaprabhu is promising that he will appear to them. He will give his darshan to that person. So even though that incident is described at the house of the Kurma Brahmin in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad said, Mahaprabhu continued on his tour. He would just stay one night in the house of a devotee, wherever he went, but he would say the same thing to everyone. The same message. Yadidekatai kara Krishna Upadesh. Everywhere you go, everyone you meet, you tell everyone the message of Krishna, the teachings of Sri Krishna. If you do this, you will not be overpowered by the material energy and you will have my association. Everywhere. He said this. So, as the Anugadhyan, the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is not only our duty, it is essential. It is obligatory. It is unavoidable. And it is the only safe position in the whole world. It's the only safe position in the whole world. Sometimes devotees think, oh, let's all get together and make some paradise in the middle of nowhere, so we can do bhajan. You will not do bhajan. You will argue and fight, and all problems will come, and it will be a disaster. Be somewhere where you can go and meet with people and speak to them and tell them about Krishna all the time. That's Mahaprabhu's instruction. If you don't do it, then one must be overwhelmed by waves of the material energy. If you do it, you will not be overwhelmed by the waves of material energy. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur gives an example. Bharat Maharaj went to the forest, and he was very advanced. Even he had come to the stage of rati, he was in ecstasy, tears were flowing from his eyes. But one day he saw a baby deer, he saved the baby deer and became attached to it, and then his bhajan was ruined. In his next life he became a deer. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he contrasts that with Rantidev Maharaj. Rantidev Maharaj was a king. He used to organize big festivals with kirtan and harikatha and prasadam distribution. And once, even all the devatas, Brahma and Indra and Shiva and Chandra and all the devatas, they came to him in disguised forms. They tried to test him. And in the end, they were pleased with his humility and his self-sacrifice to help others. And then they offered him benedictions. You can ask from us anything that you want. And he just asked that, oh, whatever sufferings the people are undergoing, let me take that suffering and let them be free. I only want to help others. So because he had parata nishta, he had faith that helping others is actually a valuable thing. So, what to speak of a baby deer? Even all the demigods who were offering anything in the universe to him, he wasn't tempted by it. He wasn't attracted by it at all. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur has contrasted these two incidents. He said that because Bharat Maharaj went to a solitary place in the middle of the forest, beautiful natural place, to stay alone, and he wasn't helping others, so he became weak and he fell down. On the other hand, the Rantidev Maharaj, he was staying with others in society, and he was active all the time, preaching, kirtan, Mahaprasad, festivals. And so, what to speak of a small baby deer? All the demigods in the universe were unable to deviate his mind from bhakti. So when Lord Nrsimhadev wanted to give a benediction to Prahlad Maharaj said, Prayena deva munaya svamimukti kama. Monam charanti vijanena parata nishta. Naitan vihaya kripanam vimamuksha eko. Nanyat twadasya sharnam brahmato nupasye. He said, oh my Lord, there are so many sages, munis, but mainly what do? Prayena deva munaya svavimukti kama. They're very eager to secure liberation for themselves. Monam charanti vijane. And they go and stay in a solitary place and they observe monabrat, silence. Na parata nishta. They don't have nishta. They don't have firm faith in the value of helping others. Actually, by being the das anudas, the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and engaging in helping others by speaking and giving opportunities for others to hear the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It seems it is paratanishta, helping others, but in the end we realize actually it was helping me more than anyone else. Because such a consciousness will come. Our Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, if anyone would give pranam to him, he would fold his hands and say, Dasosmi, I am your servant. That's why our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshamaraj, he would hide behind a tree or a building and give pranam from a hidden place. So Prabhupada could not say, fold his hands and say, Das was me. On his own Vyasa Puja day, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur spoke to his disciples. He said, you are my Vipad Bhanjan Bandhu. You are my friends who are saving me from great calamity. He said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amara Agyaya Guru Haya Tare Desh. On my order, become a guru and save everyone in your land. But Mahaprabhu also said, Trinada pi suni chena. Be more humble than a blade of grass. So then how can you become a guru? To become the master of others and amanina amanadena, not expect respect, give respect to everyone. Yet to become guru means, you'll sit on a big Vyasasan. Everyone will sit on the floor. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was saying on that day, there are certain persons in the audience now who are saying, look at that brute, look at that beast. Who does he think he is, sitting on a huge chair, while so many respectable and noble persons are sitting lower on the ground? So he said, how can we reconcile these 2 points? He said, why? Because see, Guru never thinks I am Guru. He thinks I am servant only of Das. I am Das, Das, servant of the servant of the servant of Guru and Krishna. And he sees that all his disciples, they are different, that his Guru has taken so many forms to approach him and engage him in seva. So Prabhupada said, you are my Vipad Bhanjan Bandhu. Bandhu means friend. Vipad means calamity. And Bhanjan means breaking. You are my friends who are saving me by destroying the calamity of forgetting the service of my spiritual master. So this is the mentality of Das. So therefore, see here, Srila Prabhupada is expressing, those who are helping others, they realize, no, everyone is helping me. Because they're engaging me in the service of Guru and Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj said, Maunam charanti vijane na paratanishta. So many sages, they practice silence. They go and live in a solitary place. Na paratanishta. They don't have faith in the value of helping other jivas. Naitan bihaya kripanam vimamuksha ego. But as far as I am concerned, I don't want to be liberated and leave behind all of these people. Why? Nanyam twadasya sharanam brahmanto nupasya. Because I can see that they're wandering around in this material world and they have no shelter. And there is no shelter except for you, Krishna. So how can a person, seeing the living entities, wandering around without any shelter, only going to rack and ruin, to disaster, with nowhere to run, nowhere to hide? And you know the formula, you know the solution. I said, oh yes, let them go. Prahlad Maharaj said, no, I cannot do it. So he has parata nishta. You know that Srila Rupa Goswami is the incarnation of Rupa Manjari, the leader of all the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. But when he's here in this world, what? Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. He works so hard to establish in this world the mission to fulfill the innermost heart's desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So no one should have the idea, I am so advanced, I did that. I helped people for a few years. But now I'm advanced. I've gone beyond that level. So Rupa Goswami Pad was endeavoring. He established Govindaji temple. There were classes and kirtans going on every day there. He was collecting so many books and writing so many books to help others and instructing as a Shiksha Guru. One Diksha disciple only, Jiva Goswami. But he was like a Shiksha Guru to many, many Vaishnavas. So the speciality of the Dasya Bhav, of being Das to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is that it naturally turns into Madhurya Rasa. Yatha yatha gaura padara vindeta bhaktim krita punya rasi tatata tat sarpati ridya kasmad radha padamboja sudambu rasi. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur said, the degree to which one is fully surrendered and engaged in the service of Mahaprabhu, the degree to which one develops love for the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to that same degree, the ocean of the nectar of service to the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika rise up in the heart. Radha Krishna's seva is so durlabh, it is so inaccessible and difficult to attain. But those who have the Dasya Bhav to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his mercy, Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratuba Sachinandana, when the beautiful golden form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifests in the heart, then just being touched by the rays of his golden effulgence, Samarpayito Munnatalo, Unnata Raswa Bhakti Suryam. The Unnata Ujjvala Rasa Swabhakti, the beauty of Radhika's love for Krishna, that is Radha Dasyam, it is given by being touched by the beautiful golden effulgence of Gauranga. That's why Gauranga Balite Habe Pulak. When will my hair stand on end when I say Gauranga? Why? Because his angas are Gaura. What Gaura? Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, like molten gold. It's Radhika's complexion. And if a person will have the darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's golden complexion, then this Radha Dasyam, the mood of being Radhika's maidservant, rises up in the heart. Oh, look it up, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Prema Eka Apurva Prabhav. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami presents a very moving, most tender and touching explanation of Dasya Bhav in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It seems simple, but it is so deep. He says, Krishna Prema Eka Apurva Prabhav. Love for Krishna has this one apurva, unprecedented prabhav, influence. There's a power, there's an influence in love for Krishna, which is apurva, like never before. Apurva means unprecedented. Of course, it's eternal, but it's something unprecedented. And what is that apurva prabhav, the unprecedented influence of love for Krishna? Guru sama laguke kuroye dasya bhav. Yes. Guru samu laguke kuroye dasya bhav. It does not matter whether the devotee in Krishna's Leela is Guru, senior to him, like Ananda Maharaj, Upananda, Abhinanda, Sunanda, Ananda, Krishna's father and Krishna's uncles, Parajanya, Krishna's grandfather, Krishna's mother Yashoda, Tungi, Pivara, Kuvalaya, Atula, Krishna's mother and Krishna's aunts. They're all Guru, they're all senior to him. Purnamasi Devi, Mukara, all these persons, they're all senior to Krishna. But still, it's the nature of love for Krishna, somehow or other. The Dasya Bhav manifests in it. Guru, Sama, someone may be Sama on the same level as Krishna, like his friends. That's one of the specialities of Sakya Rasa. that there's a prominence of pranay, feelings of equality and confidence. And why? Because in the Sakya Rasa, it's the only relationship where the love that you have for Krishna, Krishna loves you back with the same love. Right? Because a parent loves, you're my child, but the child doesn't love back, you're my child. So you're my parent. Servant loves, you're my master, master. You're my servant. So it's different. But in Sakya Rasa, it's same. So those are of the same age or on the same status level. Or laguke, even. That means those who are junior to Krishna. Like Raktak, Patrak, Chitrak. Servants in the house of Nanda Maharaj, in Nanda Bhavan. So anyway, all of them, whomever they are, whoever has Krishna Prem, something wonderful happens and Dasya Bhav appears in it. It doesn't mean that they change their rasa and become in Dasya Rasa, but it means if they're in Madhurya Rasa or Vatsalya Rasa or Sakya Rasa, but due to the waves of humility, then sometimes the ecstasy of Dasya Bhav is manifest. It's so sweet. So, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad is explaining this, but he has a very esoteric purpose. I don't know if we'll arrive at that esoteric purpose today, perhaps tomorrow, but we just wanted to begin this journey of this divinely inspired description manifested by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Mahaprabhu himself said, you can leave this in. Premara swabhava jahan, premara sambandha, say mani Krishna more nahi prema ganda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, whenever there's a natural relationship of love to Krishna, then it's the swabhav, it's the nature of prem itself, that the devotee feels that I don't have any love. There's a kind of emptiness. That's the sign of pure love. Prema swabhava dhyaham prema sambandha. Wherever there is a prem sambandha, a relationship of love, then prem swabhav, it's the nature. Say mane krishnamori nahi, I don't have any love at all. And so dainya, humility comes. Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad in Brihad Bhagavatamrita said, Paripakena dainyasya prema dashan vitanyate parasparam tayo ittam karya karna tekshate. The meaning is that when humility becomes mature, paripak, then it causes love to continuously expand. And naturally, when love is mature, the humility increases. So parasparam tayo itam karya karna tekshate. Karya and karan means cause and effect. Question comes, which is the cause and which is humility the cause of prem, or is prem the cause of humility? So parasparam tayoitam, parasparam means mutually. Of these two, karya karna tekshate, that prem is the cause of humility and humility is the cause of prem. They're mutually the cause and effect of each other. So, you can bring just in a few verses later, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is quoting the words of Nanda Maharaj. Manaso vrityo nasyo Krishna padam bujastraya vacho bidayinair nam kayastat pravanadishu. So beautiful. Nanda Maharaj is saying, Manaso vrityo nasyo Krishna padam bujastraya. May our manobrittis, may all the functions of our mind, our chitta brittis, be surrendered at the feet of Krishna. Why is he praying for Nanda Maharaj? He never forgets Krishna. So he always loves Krishna. And Krishna is his son. So why is he praying? Manaso Vritya Nasu. Krishna Padam Vadas. May all our brittis be absorbed in the feet of Krishna, like a servant. Vacho Bidaini Nam Nam. May our voices be engaged in glorifying his names. Kayastat Pravanadish. And may our bodies be engaged in bowing down at his lotus feet. Why? The father doesn't bow down to the son. The son every morning has to go and bow down and touch the feet of his father. This is Vedic culture. Then Nanda Maharaj said, Kama be Brahmyamananam Yatra Kwapishwar Ichaya Mangala Charita Dane Rati Na Krishna Ishware. Wherever we may wander in this material universe, under the influence of our karma, by the will of the Lord, may our activities always cause our attraction to Krishna to increase. Krishna Ishware, the Supreme Lord Krishna. The British Basis don't know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. How can Nanda Maharaj be saying this? There's some background. There's some background behind it. The meaning is this, that when Krishna was in Mathura, at that time, after killing Kamsa Maharaj, then Vasudeva and Devaki, they thought, Braj is nearby, and now he's killed Kamsa Maharaj and solved all the problems here in Mathura. He may quickly run away. So we have to arrange his Upanayan Sanskar, his sacred thread ceremony, according to the Vidhi of Kshatriyas, to give him the samskar. Just forget this cow herding, taking cows to graze, and this village life. You are our son. Because the demigod said, Asiste astamo garbo bahase bahante bahase Buddha. On the day of Devaki's wedding, the demigod said, you fool Kamsa, the 8th child of Devaki will kill you. And so now everyone saw in the wrestling arena of Kamsa Maharaj how Krishna killed Kamsa. So now it's been confirmed. Krishna is really the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. How can the demigods tell a lie? So we have to give him the samskar, the impression. Forget about this taking the cows to graze and village life. You are from the royal family. You are a Kshatriya. And after receiving the Upanayan Sanskar, then you can go to Gurukul. So they sent him very far away to Avantipur, Ujjain. And then he'll forget about trying to return to Braja. So after Krishna came back from Gurukul, then he climbed up on the roof of the palace of Vasudeva Maharaj, and he looked and saw that the Jamuna was flowing. And there were high waves in the Jamuna. Why? Because in Vrindavan, the gopis were crying on the bank of Jamuna. Their tears were causing the Jamuna to overflow. When Krishna saw Jamuna Devi, who is so dear to him, and his Uddipana stimulates the remembrance of his beautiful meeting with Radhika and the Braja Gopis at night during the Rasa Lila. Then Krishna began to weep, and he was overwhelmed with emotion. So at that time, Uddhav was searching for him, and Uddhav found him there. And when Uddhav saw Krishna in this forlorn state, he was amazed. My Lord is a Anandamoy Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, the embodiment of bliss. Why does he look depressed? Why is he weeping? And Krishna, he was thinking, what can I do to console? What can I do to console the residents of Vrindavan? I cannot think of a solution. I must send a message. But if I send someone who has Aishwarya Gyan, the knowledge that I am God fully, then they will go there and they'll say, what are you worrying about? God is everywhere. How can you be separated from Krishna? And when the Brijbasis are weeping, they'll think that they're foolish and they may commit offense to them. On the other hand, if I send someone who does not have Aishwarya Gyan, knowledge that I am Bhagavan, then when they go there, they'll not be able to console the residents of Vrindavan, and then they'll criticize me for leaving them. So I need someone who has the affinity for sweetness, but also has some Aishwarya Bhav. Who basically has a sweet mood, but there's some awareness of my opulence, but it's not prominent. Who can it be? Who can it? And then he saw Uddhav was coming. Then Krishna felt like a person who had a very powerful jewel, a beautiful, precious jewel on a golden necklace, but he lost it. He was searching everywhere. He was looking in his cupboards. He was searching high and low. He was going to different rooms, looking under his bed. He was in great anxiety, and then he realized, oh, I'm wearing it. So Krishna was like, who can I, oh, Uddhav. The very person is right here. And Krishna grasped the hands of Uddhav and said, Gat Shuddhava Brajam Somya Pitro Na Pratimavaha Gopinam Mat Vyoganem Mat Sandesha Vimucha. Uddhav, go to Braja and give some consolation to my parents. And deliver my messages to the gopis also, who are suffering in separation from me. So when Krishna said Uddhav, actually Uddhav didn't want to leave Krishna. Uddhav is attached to Krishna. He was thinking, I don't want to go there, but Krishna is sending me. But Krishna described to Uddhav the greatness of the love of the gopis. And by hearing that from Krishna, some greed came into the heart of Uddhav. He thought, I have never seen Sri Krishna manifest such intense emotion. These devotees have such a love that I've never seen. I'm not acquainted with such love. I want to see what it is like. What are these devotees like? And so his greed to go to Vrindavan was awakened by Krishna's words. So then Krishna called his servants to bring the golden chariot of Kamsamarj that he gave to Akrura, the same chariot, and he gave it to Uddhav. And Uddhav set off, and from Mathura he went to Vrindavan. But we should not think that Uddhav was pulled by the horses of the chariot to Vrindavan. But really, he was carried there by lobh, the greed that had developed in his heart, by hearing. Because he used to think, I am Krishna's closest and nearest friend. Vrishninam pravaro mantri Krishnasya daitasaka. But when he saw Krishna's state of separation and heard his words, speaking of the unprecedented love of gopis, Daryatrachikrishchena, Pranam, the Katanchana. With great difficulty, the gopis are holding on to their pran. Smrantanga vimuyanti. Remembering me, they become overwhelmed. Bira utkanta vivala, with the intense eagerness of separation. When Uddhav heard these words describing the gopis, then he did not realize it, but at least theoretically the idea was there that there's another level. There's another level of prem, and some greed to experience that came in Uddhav. And it was the greed that pulled his chariot to Vrindavan. And when he was there, he met with Nanda and Yashoda. And he saw Mother Yashoda, she could not even see. She had been crying so much. Nanda Maharaj was putting on a brave face and trying to offer the hospitality to Uddhav and welcome a guest. But Nanda Maharaj also broke down crying. So that time Uddhav said, Ma kidyatham mahabhago drakshata krishnamantike antaridi sabhutanam aste jyotir ivaidasi. Oh Nanda and Yashoda, you are so fortunate, Mahabhago. You are so fortunate. Do not lament. Why? You will see Krishna very soon. You know that Krishna is present in the hearts of all living beings, just like fire is dormant in wood. You know, wherever there's wood, there's fire inside, but you cannot see it. All you have to do by friction to manifest. So Krishna is like that. Krishna is everywhere. If you want to see him, the friction is your sadhana. Sadhana, daily practice. If you practice daily, after some time, that Krishna who is everywhere, he will manifest. So, why did Uddhav speak these words? It seems rather inconsiderate and insensitive. Because Nanda Maharaj, he does not love Krishna as God. He does not think of Krishna as God. The reason he spoke this is because Nanda Maharaj said to Uddhav, how great is our misfortune? What happened? Our son is very kind, very gentle, and very loving. And he always tells the truth. And for his whole life, he could not leave us. He could not give us up. And suddenly he is just gone. So what kind of misfortune is this? If a parent has a child and the child is reckless and callous, and they one day just up and go and say, I'm coming back, but they never come back. It's understandable. But how can a loving child who was so attached to us and who never tells a lie, how could he just go and not come back? So Uddhav is telling them, don't lament, you'll see him very soon. Nanda Maharaj said, you're saying we'll see him soon, but when? Tomorrow, the next day, or after 10 days? Tell us when he's coming. If you don't give us consolation, how will we be able to hold on to our life as? What will be the point of our life? And if Krishna is not coming, just tell us the fact truthfully. Don't hide it from us. So that we can just leave this world. So Uddhav was thinking, he's such a great Vrishinam Pravaro Mantri. He's a mantri. He's a diplomat. He's an advisor. He's an ambassador. He's trained in statecraft. He's so judicious in every situation. He knows what to say. But now he's at a loss for words. Uddhav is thinking, looking at Nanda and Yashoda, Maya, and thinking, what advice can I give them? If Krishna were an ordinary child, then I could just say, you are an illusion. You are not this body. All the relations of this world, husband and wife, father and son, brother and sister, they're all temporary illusions based on bodily identification. Give up this illusion and give up your lamentation and come out from the darkness of ignorance, I could say. But what can I say? He's crying for his son, but his son is the absolute truth upon whom everyone should meditate. So I cannot say, oh, forget about him. Because all the Shastra said you should remember him. And if I say to Nanda Maharaj, you are so fortunate that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he became your son. Then Nanda Maharaj said, oh, now it's worse. I had thought that I had lost a son, a most loving son, But now I found out that this loving son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I've lost him. Hmm? If someone has an ordinary child, he can have so many qualities. But the Supreme Lord has all the qualities in full, unlimitedly. If you lose such a son, then that makes my misfortune unparalleled in the history of the universe. Hmm? What can I say? What can I say to Nanda Maharaj? His possessiveness for Krishna is so dense. If I tell him that Krishna is God, even, his love is not weakened. And I have seen Krishna's attachment for him because he told me, Gatsuddhava Brajam Somya Pitrona Pratimava, please go and pacify my parents. Do it for me. So then Uddhav was thinking, maybe I should just go to Mathura. I should leave at once, go to Mathura and get Krishna and bring him here. So then Uddhav thought, no, that won't work. Because Krishna has just killed Kamsa, and Kamsa was married to Asti and Prapti. They are the two daughters of Jarasandha. And so now, because the daughters of Jarasandha have become widows for life, due to Krishna, now Jarasandha will want to attack Mathura and annihilate everyone. And if I bring Krishna here, then the residents of Mathura will be helpless. So I cannot bring him. Let me think of something else. Then Uddhav thought, maybe I can just bring him to Braj for a few days and then bring him back again before Jarasandha arrives. So then Uddhav thought, no, that will be too much. Because they've already lost Krishna. They've already lost Krishna once. If they lose him again, then they will not be able to tolerate it, because bringing Krishna back will not give them solace. It will be like putting water on hot ghee. You know, if you have a pan of hot ghee and it's extremely hot and you want to cool it down, then sprinkle a little water on it. That will cool it down, right? Have you ever dropped some water in hot ghee? It almost explodes. So in the same way, Uddhav thought, if I just bring Krishna back from Mathura to Braja, just for a few days, and then take him away again, instead of their separation mood going down, it will explode, it will go up. And I will have made the situation much worse. So then he thought, what if I tell them that Krishna will come after 4 or 5 days? Then he thought, no, that won't work either. Because that will get their hopes up, and when day 4, day 5 comes and he doesn't come, that may finish them. So then Uddhav finally, he decided. He was weighing up all the various scenarios. And he said, all right, I'm just going to tell them that Krishna is Paramatma. And try to change their mood, try to calm them down. I'll tell them that Krishna has no mother, no father, no relationship with anyone. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. He is equally disposed to everyone. And they should realize and meditate on the soul. And then he thought to himself, but their love is so dense. It's so dense. You know, if you have something that's soft like butter and you take a thorn, you can push the thorn into the butter. But if something is solid, then you cannot push anything into it. So the thorn of Tattva Gyan, I will not be able to push it into the consciousness of Nanda and Yashoda. They will be impervious to that due to the intense love for Krishna. They are not like Vasudeva and Devaki. Vasudeva and Devaki said, yes, Krishna is our son. But when he killed Kamsa Maharaj, who so many demons were serving Kamsa Maharaj, like Putana, Agasur, Trinavarta, Each one had the strength of thousands of elephants, and they were all the servants of Kamsa Maharaj. He was so powerful. But this boy just killed him. At that time, Krishna, he ran to his parents to give pranam to them, and he wanted to be embraced and sit in their lap. But Vasudeva and Devaki was standing with folded arms, folded hands like this. And when Krishna bowed down to them, they looked at each other. What do we do? This is an awkward situation. How can we accept the pranams of God? Then, because of Krishna's desire, Yogamaya covered them, and they took Krishna and Balaram into their laps and caressed them. But Vasudeva and Devaki, their love, it is called Adik Nyun Apekshamai Prem. The love which sometimes becomes more and sometimes becomes less, depending on the circumstances. So if Krishna will show his opulences to Vasudeva and Devaki, then when they become absorbed, or he is the Supreme Lord, at that time Vasudeva and Devaki say, he is not our son. He cannot be the son of everyone. Janmadyasya yataha. He is Parabrahma, from whom everything has come. And they tremble, realizing his unlimited majesty. But Uddhav's thinking, Nanda and Yashoda are not like that. Even if I tell them Krishna is God, Krishna is the Paramatma, then it will not affect them. It will only make their love increase. Just like there was a mother and she had a son, and they were very poor. And the son, he went away to a foreign country. And after working for many years, he became wealthy, successful, and famous, and he became the king of that country. So she was already proud of her son. And then when she found out that her son had become the king, then she became even more proud. My son is the king. She doesn't say, oh, he's not my son anymore because he's the king. You see? Because the mamata, the possessiveness, which is the very swarup of love, that is atyanta pragara mamata yukta lokik sadbandhu bat sambandha. And lokik sadbandhu bat a relationship like persons of this world have with their own family towards Krishna, which is imbued with excessively condensed atyanta pragar mamata yukt, excessively condensed possessiveness. That is the swarup of Prem, the very nature of love. So Nanda and Yashoda are like this. So Uddhav thought, I'll try to calm Nanda Maharaj down. His separation is going so high, he could leave at any moment. So I'll try to cool him down by speaking about saying Krishna is Parabrahma. He is the super soul in everyone's heart. He's everywhere like fire in wood, and he can be seen by doing sadhana bhakti. I'll speak in this way. And if that will calm him down, because it will distract him. But at the same time, it will not change his mind that Krishna is my son. And when I see that his mamata, his possessiveness for Krishna is not at all affected, then afterwards, when I return to Mathura, I will stand in the assembly house of the Yadus, and in front of Vasudeva and Devaki and Ugrasen Maharaj, I will loudly and continuously glorify the Brajabasis. So this is what Uddhav decided. He said, let me give it a try. And so he said these words, Oh, Nanda Maharaj, do not lament. You are both greatly fortunate. Krishna is in the heart of everyone, present everywhere like fire in wood. So what was the effect of that? So then, Nanda Maharaj, he cannot give up thinking of Krishna as his son. And after Uddhav had stayed a few months in Vrindavan, in Braja, when Uddhav, actually he got so lost in the association of the gopis and glorifying Krishna and reading the messages of Krishna to the gopis, he got so lost in that he even forgot about going back to Mathura. But one day Radhika said to him, "Hey Uddhav, Krishna is waiting for you." And then he realized, oh yes. And Lalita gave some messages to give to Krishna. And Uddhav came. So when Uddhav was preparing to leave, then Nanda Maharaj and Upananda, Abhinanda, his brothers, and all the elderly gopis and the gopis, they came to bid farewell to Uddhav as he was leaving on the chariot. And when Uddhav was about to leave, then Nanda Maharaj, he wanted to say something that's relatable because he's very sensitive. And he said to Uddhav this verse, Manaso vritya nasur krishna padam buddhastraya vacho bidayinir nam kayastat pravanadishu. May our mental vrittis be always at the lotus feet of Krishna. May our words always glorify his names. May our bodies be engaged in bowing down to Ishvara. Why? Because you said he was Ishvara. Uddhav said that Krishna is Ishvara. So Nanda Maharaj tried to say something relatable to Uddhav. But also, he's thinking to himself, Nanda Maharaj was feeling, oh Uddhav, he thought, I am not qualified to be Krishna's father. So he said to Uddhav, oh dear Uddhav, may you live long. Myself and Yashoda, my wife, we are Krishna's parents. But we have been so hard-hearted. Why? Because Krishna, his character and his virtues are so noble, so sweet, and he's so kind, that even though we raised him from childhood, now we can understand that our affection was a kritrim, artificial. Why? Because, first of all, if our love were real love, not artificial love, remember we said, those who have love think they have no love. Nanda Maharaj said, now it's been revealed. Even I was convinced that I love Krishna. But now it's been revealed that my love is artificial. And it was always artificial. Why? Because a person stays in the place where they are loved. And if our love were not artificial, Krishna would not have left. So by leaving and searching out, trying to search out someone who can really love him, he has revealed that our love is artificial. And the fact that we are still alive after he left us is further evidence to prove it. Nanda Maharaj said, Uddhav, I think that only Dasarath Maharaj was a real father. Because when Dasarath Maharaj heard that Lord Ram had gone to the forest in exile for 14 years, then Dasarath Maharaj cried, Ha Ram, Ha Ram, Ha. And he left this world. That's love. I don't have love. Actually, the truth is, Nanda Maharaj's love is far, far superior to Dasarath Maharaj. But where there is love, the person feels, I have no love. And deep down, Nanda Maharaj, he is holding on to his life. And he cannot give up his life. Because he's just thinking, if Krishna came back and I had passed away, he would feel so much pain. He would be so sad. So I have to hold on to my life for Krishna. When Krishna was a little boy, and then when he was older, Nanda Maharaj and others, they collected so many nice cloth and jewels and ornaments. But now they had no use for them, they had no attachment to them. They collected them together and they presented them to Uddhav as gifts. Nanda Maharaj said to Uddhav, Uddhav, you say that Krishna is Supreme Lord. And I have heard Gagacharya said, Tasman nandatma jo yamte Narayana samoguna. Your son has qualities like Lord Narayan. It doesn't say he's not your son. Nanda Atmaja, your natural born son, has qualities like Lord Narayan. I also heard this. So it can be that Krishna is omniscient. And being omniscient, he could understand my heart, and he could understand that my love was the artificial, kritrim. And therefore he is gone. And by his atarkya, vichitrata, that means by his inconceivable influence, now he has made a new set of parents in Mathura. So I should be condemned. But anyway, manaso vritya nasu, may our minds. Now Nanda Maharaj is there with his brothers, his elder brothers, his younger brothers, and they all have tears in their eyes, and he's speaking on behalf of all of them. That's why he says na our in the plural. Speaking on behalf of all of the Brijbasis. Though they have more love than anyone else. With tears in his eyes, he's speaking to Uddhav, because he's remembering Uddhav said, Krishna is like fire in wood. That means if you do sadhana, it's like friction and it will manifest. So then out of humility, Nanda Maharaj feeling like, I have no love. But Uddhav told us that if we become like, just like Vaishnavas serve Vishnu, if we'll do bhakti to Krishna, then Krishna will appear here in Vrindavan. Uddhav is a learned person, and he has said this. So maybe it's true. And so Nanda Maharaj is saying, just like a devotee, oh, may my mind always be absorbed in Krishna. Manaso britya yasu Krishna padam buddhasya vacho bidaine. May my voice be engaged in chanting his names, and my body in bowing down to him. The implication is that though Nanda Maharaj is the ashray of Vatsalya Ras, and Krishna is that is the shelter of parental love, and Krishna is the object of parental love. If a devotee has love and they feel some udasinata, udasin means indifference. If they feel that Krishna in any way shows udasina, indifference to them, then in the ocean of their love, whether it's parental love or sakkaras or vatsalyaras, a wave of dainyabhav comes. I am useless. I am wretched. And when that wave of dainyabhav comes, then dasyabhav appears within that rasa. It is not dasya rasa. It's still vatsalya rasa. It's still sakya rasa. It's still madhurya rasa. But due to detecting, for one reason or another, whether true or not, Krishna can never be indifferent actually to his devotees, so it's not true. But feeling as if Krishna is udasing, indifferent, then because Krishna is there all in all, everything, in the ocean of the Vatsalya Prem of Nanda Maharaj and Upananda Abhinanda, then a big Sanchari Bhav, Dainya Bhav rises up. And in that moment, then they feel, oh, I am Das. I am just Krishna's servant. So this is not actually Dasya Ras. It's Vatsalya Ras. But it's an ecstatic moment of Dasya Ras. And this is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad is saying. Krishna Prema Eka Apurva Prabhav. Love for Krishna has this one unique characteristic, unprecedented influence, that whether one is senior, equal, or less than Krishna in status, then this wave of Dasya Bhav rises up in the heart. And this is true also of all the rasas. So we discussed briefly this very tender and touching moment. You see, Krishnadas Kaviraj says a simple thing. Krishna Prem is as an unprecedented prabhav. It causes dasya to appear in senior, equal, and junior status persons. And then he just quotes this verse without explanation. But if you see the moment when it was spoken, that moment where Nanda Maharaj is trying to say to Uddhav something that he can relate to. At the same time, something relevant to what Uddhav has said to him. But at the same time, he himself is tormented by intense separation from Sri Krishna. And so he feels unqualified to be Krishna's parent. And in the wave of humility, the Dasya Bhav comes. This is the nectar of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's writing. But he's going somewhere with this. He gives the example of Sakyarasa. He said, Pada sambahanam chakru keichit tasya mahatmana apare hatapapmano vyajanai samavijayan. The Shukadev Goswami part, he's saying, some coward boys, they were massaging the lotus feet of Krishna. And some of them, others, who are hatapapmano, whose sinful actions had all been destroyed, they took some leaves and they were fanning Krishna. So he's describing Sakyarasa here. It's also a nectarian moment. Kechit. Kechit means some coward boys were massaging the lotus feet of Krishna. What does that mean? How many can all massage at the same time? That means Krishna lay down on one bed of leaves that the coward boys had made beneath a tree, at the root of a tree. He lay down, and one boy was massaging, and the other boy, another boy was there, and then he would move, and then another boy would massage, and so one boy after another was massaging Krishna. No, this is the meaning, but not the full meaning. Actually, so many boys had made beds of leaves for Krishna. They noticed he was becoming tired from climbing trees and wrestling and swimming and so many pastimes. So they'd prepared some bed. And one boy and another boy said, "Oh, Krishna, come and lie down. Take some rest." And Krishna said to all of them at the same time, "Yes." Because he's multidimensional, right? So Krishna said yes to every boy at the same time. And this is why Krishna is called Mahatmana. He's a great soul. He's the Supreme Lord. Why? Because there were so many beds all over the forest, and Krishna expanded himself and he went and lay down on every single one of them. So he is Mahatmana. But every boy was feeling so happy that Krishna only came to lie down on the bed that I have made for him. And then one boy sat down and began to massage the feet of Krishna. But it said some boys. Why some boys? Because this boy, all over the forest, everywhere, some boy was massaging the lotus feet of Krishna. Hatapapmano Vyajanai Samavij, and other boys, they were fanning him. So they are friends, actually. But all of these services like fanning and foot massage, these are the activities of Das. So what does it mean? It means that after playing with Krishna, they experience so much love for Krishna. And when love increases, humility increases. When humility increases, the love increases. When the love increases, the humility increases. And a wave of Dainya Bhav came. And so when Krishna lay down, instead of doing what boys would often do, just lie down with him. Everyone can lie down and take some rest. But it indicates that though they're in Sakyarasa, their praying became so intense that a wave of humility came, and they feel, oh, I'll massage his feet. I'll fan him with leaves. I'll sing some songs for him in a sweet melody as he's relaxing, like this. So Krishnadas Kaviraj is giving this example. Krishna prema eka apurva pavav. Guru, we gave the example of Guru. Sama, example of the cowboys. Laguke, those are junior also. What to speak of the parents and the friends, even this mood comes in Brajagopis, but we'll have to explain it tomorrow. Yeah? So keep this principle, this verse, Guru Samulago Ke Karai Dasya Bhav. Keep it in your heart, because Krishna Das Kaviraj wants to take us into a very confidential realm, but we cannot go there directly. We'll have to go on this journey. Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Sri Harinam ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo.